100%, and that's really all I could ask for. So, boys, I appreciate you, doing good work in my stead.
We had some fantastic ideas.
I
What was the Fast to the Future? That was Tanner's idea.
It wasn't my idea. I unintentionally stole it from someone else. But the Fast and Furious prequel set in the 1920s, you mostly came up with on the spot. Which was good. And then Pooh versus Paddington, where they fight each other, but then they have to team up to fight the bear from Annihilation at the end of the movie.
What in the world happened?
Dude,
I don't remember any of this.
We were just going on tangents. It was amazing.
I like it. We need to do that more. Oh man. Well, I guess I need to listen to last week's episode because that's
How did we even get on that note of
Pooh
versus Paddington? I think it's because we're talking about the the Super Smash Bros. Movie, and then somehow that led to Pooh versus Paddington. Dude, it was wild.
That sounds like a typical Cinemaxtic podcast, and that's what I am here for, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
was actually Cinemaxless.
Cinemaxless podcast. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not a Cinemaxtic episode today. It's a Force Vision episode today. And let's go ahead and get into this thing. So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the leaked Duel of Fates art that was confirmed by Colin Trevorrow to be legitimate. So there's some interesting little tidbits there. We're going to talk about Obi-Wan being delayed at Disney Plus, a Knights of the Old Republic game remake in the works that apparently is going to make a lot of elements canon. And we're going to talk about our thoughts on the Rise of Skywalker a month later. That's all happening right here, right now. This is the Force Vision Podcast. No, we have just our thoughts like a month.
Just how we our opinions have changed.
Opinions have changed. What our thoughts are a month later. But again, yeah, this is our first time actually being together as a foursome in quite some time, and it feels good. It feels like good energy in here. So, as always, I'm your host Max Leadham at Max Fozzie. I am joined by the full squad today: Tim Trist or Tim Reichmuth at Tim Trist.
My legal name is now Tim Trist.
On my right, Tim, thanks for being here today. Tanner Rush, right across from me at Danger Rush. Tanner, how you feeling?
Good.
And of course, the man with the most, Jordan Katzer, on the mics, on the cameras, on the ones and twos.
Hell yeah, dude.
Welcome back. Guys, well, let's not even beat around the bush. Let's just get right into this thing because there's some good topics here that we haven't had a chance to discuss. It's been a while since we've done a Force Vision because the last one we technically did was the review of The Rise of Skywalker. And a lot of news has come and gone since then. So let's start first and foremost with the leaked Duel of Fates fan art, which was put out about, a couple weeks ago. And with these things, when they always come out, you always wonder what is legit, what is not, what is like totally fake. But Colin Trevorrow, the director or former director of the Duel of Fates, the episode 9 script treatment that he made, he confirmed it. He confirmed that these were legit. I thought there was a lot of really great ideas in this. I don't know if I would have preferred Duel of Fates over The Rise of Skywalker based off the leaked script and the leaked images, but I do think there was a lot of really great ideas in these leaked images and in the script, and I think maybe a combination of Rise of Skywalker and Duel of Fates would have been maybe a nice status quo, a nice balance, But yeah, guys, what'd you think of these screenshots, these leaks of the art for the Duel of Fates?
I thought they were pretty interesting. There are definitely some really cool ideas. I don't know if I liked all of them. I don't know. I think I'd prefer the Ben Solo arc where he gets redeemed.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that they would have killed off R2, I would have been pissed if that happened. But going back to like Coruscant, I thought that was really cool because you only see that in the prequels, and I mean it's a really important place kind of in
Yeah.
You know,
Also,
Star
just
Wars.
to ad lib on that, Colin Trevorrow said that R2D2 is just malfunctioning. He wouldn't have killed him off. That image wasn't actually him dead. It was him just taking one to the dome. But he was never. He's like Colin's like I couldn't do that.
Oh, in that case, I wish they would have done dual effects. But no, there was a lot of cool ideas like the double bladed lightsaber, the uprising of Coruscant, and then I think wasn't there one where General Hux commits seppuku?
Yeah, with a purple lightsaber.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird concept, but I like how they're staying true to the whole samurai aspect that George started in the original trilogy. So
yeah,
there's definitely some interesting bits. I don't know if I can say that I'd prefer it over Rise of Skywalker though.
Tanner,
I would have preferred it.
Yeah,
Rise of Skywalker. Again, maybe not. If they could have meshed, like you said, some of the bits from both ideas together. I just Duel of Fate seemed more streamlined. It seems like it kind of carries through on certain things that The Last Jedi kind of set up. I like the idea of Luke kind of just being around and harassing Ben Solo as a Force ghost. That's a great idea. That's what I thought would happen with the Rise of Skywalker. And he's like, nah, I ain't gonna show up at all.
I'll see you around, kid.
Yeah,
And
you can't say that. And then people are trying to be like, oh, he was like Han Solo, he would say, so he's throwing it in his face. It's like,
unless he force projected himself as Han Solo. And that was actually Luke talking to him.
It still wouldn't address the issue, and maybe we'll go into this more later, but the whole Carrie Fisher conundrum with this. But again, giving Finn something to do, re-involving Coruscant is a good idea, I think. I don't know.
What are your guys' thoughts on the whole Tor Valum? Whatever
that
spider guy.
That seemed weird.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
It's interesting. It's an interesting concept, but I don't know if introducing a new big bad.
If it wasn't a big bad, but more of like maybe a servant to Palpatine who like also trained Darth Vader and stuff like that, I think I would have been more keen to it because I think but they were definitely shelling it out as like he was the big bad, like he was like I don't even know if he was mightier than Palpatine. What was Palpatine's master or something like that?
It just doesn't seem like if Palpatine had a master that he would still be alive.
Yeah. I agree. Well, the fact he killed Plagueis would make you also insinuate that, but
I don't know if that's canon anymore.
No, I think it is. Didn't they come out with a book?
I don't know if the Plagueis novel's canon.
Well, Darth Plagueis is canon. We know that.
Well, yes.
But, okay, I guess I never realized that him killing Darth Plagueis is technically maybe not canon.
I guess is sort of the implication in that
the whole
scene.
Rule of Two, I think it heavily implied, so...
Yeah.
I mean, you have to kill your master to then move on. So
yeah, I will say that I understood where they had to where Colin was probably trying to go. He's like, okay. I mean, I guess we would need clarification if Tor Valum was going to be the big bad of the whole trilogy type of thing. Then maybe I'm not as big of a fan of that, especially if they're going to keep Kylo bad.
I feel like that wasn't being set up in Duel of the Fates. From the details I read,
it looks like it was just a person.
He's just kind of like a weird side quest character.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the movie, The Rise of Skywalker, Episode 9 had two options: to fully make Kylo not redeemable and a total bad guy because you need to have a villain overall, or they're going to redeem him. So now you need a villain that makes sense to close off the trilogy. So they obviously had to bring back Palpatine. So I see where he's trying to go with there. But back to your guys' points too on the ideas there, the Coruscant, the mission. First of all, I think Coruscant obviously was very prevalent in the prequels, but man, I really wish we would see it more because I just think it's such a cool city, and I think there's so many cool ways you could handle that type of atmosphere, and definitely seeing Finn kind of leading an uprising amongst the Coruscant people was a cool idea, and just the visuals from that was a cool idea. Obviously, Right.
kind of going back to, they're going to the Jedi Temple to send out the messages to everyone. I thought that'd be kind of interesting because it would essentially mimic Revenge of the Sith, where, they are going into hiding. They're telling everyone to hide and stay away. And then at the very end, it's them going back to the same place and saying, hey, we're coming back. We're uprising.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
I think
Yeah,
that'd
Tim.
be good. I think that'd be
Yeah.
pretty sweet. So
Also, and also like I think the duel of not the dual fates, the dual bladed lightsaber that Rey had, it definitely seemed like a really cool idea. I loved the idea. I mean, I think that idea made a ton of sense. I don't know if they were thinking it was going to we're going a little too Star Warsy, but even though Darth Maul in Episode 1 had it, so I didn't know if they're like, okay, we're getting a little too deep into the sticky bits of Star Wars that are like maybe too nerdy. But I think, man, that would have made people super pumped. So,
I like Rey having the yellow bladed saber. I think is cool. I just wish she had it earlier in the movie.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's something we'll touch on too with our our thoughts on the Rise of Skywalker a month later. But that's I really liked that bit there, and I did like Luke haunting Kylo. I think that was a cool idea. It seemed like that idea made a ton of sense. So that was probably the most surprising thing from the Rise of Skywalker. Actually, is just how little Luke was in it. I thought for sure, given the amount of liberties they took with the story that Ryan set up, that they would, that would be one of the top ones that they would be totally fine.
Instead, we have a Han Solo hallucination.
Yeah.
Which again was a good interaction.
It was good. That was probably like my favorite part of the movie.
But he's not a Force ghost.
Yeah. It's just a memory type of thing. But I understand, like, it seemed like
weird because there's nothing quite like that anywhere else in the saga with like
there's no
we're never really presented non-literal things in any of the movies. So to have like a figment of Kylo's imagination on screen just seemed strange.
Yeah.
And then I've heard some people trying to say that was Leia somehow generating him, but she's dead before Han Solo shows up. So
I don't know if there's if that's almost like a new type of force power, like her trying to sacrifice herself.
Would then kind of undermine the effectiveness of the scene too. I think if
it was just like a big
Leia
farce,
force pretending to be, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it was that, but So, I think there was a lot of cool ideas in these leaked images, and obviously we're never going to get any of that, but it's kind of cool to see behind the scenes what was maybe going on. I do think I understand why Colin was probably dropped. It did seem like that was a pretty dark Star Wars movie from just what I was seeing. So I don't know if that was maybe one of the main complaints that they were having, is like, Jesus, this thing seems pretty intense, which I think a lot of Star Wars fans would probably eat right up, but they also have to consider the family. So yeah.
But
so that's
we wouldn't have gotten Babu Frick. That would have been a real tragedy. So
you're right. We would have gone without Babu, and that would have been too much. Also, the other thing, I don't know if I like the title, the Duel of Fates.
It's a little fan servicey, but I like it more than the Rise of Skywalker.
Well, it just seems like naming it after a literal piece of music in the Star Wars saga seems, I don't know. That just seemed like a little strange to me.
Works for me.
Moving on to our next topic here, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which was announced, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. That sounds like it's a variety
it's
show.
A talk show.
Sounds like it's a variety talk show. The Obi-Wan Kenobi show on the night at 11 o'clock. Was delayed. It was announced.
What's going on with it?
I know. It was announced. It was delayed. It seems like the scripts aren't where they wanted them. And there's a whole bunch of hooey going on there. Now there's a ton of rumors. Are they just going to make it a movie? Are they going to make it a 3-episode thing instead of 6 episodes? Are they rewriting everything? Are they getting completely new directors? It's just like a bunch of stuff's going on. Also, is it going to get delayed? Ewan McGregor said, nothing's getting delayed. We're starting the same time we were always going to start. But people are like, that doesn't seem right. How could that be? You're going to have to get all these new set pieces and stuff to go with the story. So what's going on? I don't know. I honestly do not know what's going
I
on.
don't know
I was
either.
very excited about this, but as I've come to, and I'm not trying to be a hater here, but as I've come to find out with the new Star Wars regime, a lot of things that start usually get halted at some point, and you just kind of have to go with the flow.
Yeah. I'm not worried about this show as I would be for like another show. Like say Cassian, was it Cassian Andor?
Mm-hmm.
If his show got halted, then I'd be like, okay, it's probably done. But the fact that they bring Ewan McGregor back and all the fans wanted it, there's no way they're going to take it off the table. And so, because there would just be a complete uproar. I think they're still going to do a show because that just makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's enough story that's worthwhile to make it a movie. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm just going to kind of wait and see. You know, we've got plenty of other stuff to watch in the meantime. We got Clone Wars and then next season Mandalorian. So
Yeah.
it is a little concerning, but I also appreciate that they're taking the effort to make sure it is the best it can be, and they're not just settling on a script too. So,
Yeah, I mean, you can say what you want about all the delays and everything, but I mean, to the most part, the box office and critical consensus, it seems to be worth it. They haven't put. I mean, I guess you could say what you want about Solo, that it didn't do very well in the box office, and it wasn't the best critical success, but you know, everything they put out, Force Awakens, Last Jedi. I mean, The Rise of Skywalker obviously wasn't the biggest critical success, and
It wasn't at all.
and it's a little bit of a got some fans in a tizzy. Rogue One was good.
Yep.
You know, they're fine. They're fine. I do wish maybe they would have things a little bit more nailed down before they decided to announce.
right.
I think it's cool to get fans excited and everything like that. I do, but I do wish things were just a little more nailed down and in stone before you go ahead and announce it, because then you just like make everyone get really worried and we're like, okay, is this gonna happen? When is this gonna happen?
Right.
Is it gonna be bad? But I don't think it's gonna be bad, but still I'm excited for it nonetheless to see what it's all about.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing to think about, I know they're trying to move in that direction where it is more organized and people compare it to Marvel, but Marvel's doing the same thing too with some of their TV shows where they've gotten delayed and they're pushing it back a little bit. So it's not like, it's just Star Wars is faulty, and it's everyone's doing it with Disney Plus. So I don't know if it's necessarily an issue with Star Wars or just their service, and they just want to make sure it's the best. So
Yeah.
I feel like that probably happens more often than it seems normal. I feel like the amount of weird production stuff that's going on, be it delays or rewrites or directors dropping out or reshoots, it seems like people are more interested in reading about it now than ever, so it's probably getting reported on more.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I have a feeling like it's got to be pretty common actually.
Yeah, it probably is.
But I was liked the idea of a Kenobi movie more than a Kenobi show.
I did too until I saw The Mandalorian, and I could see what they were able to do with that. Now, I do think a show like Obi-Wan Kenobi probably requires, for me, it's going to be 6 episodes. I think it requires a higher budget if they can make it like. Now, there was The Mandalorian. I felt like was we can disagree on this, but I do think it was a pretty damn high quality show. For the most part, I'd say 90% of it was pretty close to movie, cinema level quality. 90-85% of it, I would say. I think they did the best they could with what they had. But I think if we're going to bring back Obi-Wan, I want you to not hold back at all and give it a big budget, especially, with lightsabers and stuff like that. You just want to make sure. I don't want Obi-Wan to come back and feel like an afterthought type of thing. Right. I want him to feel front and center. I want him to feel like it's a movie like thing. So
yeah,
if they could pull that off, then I'll be excited for it, and I'm still excited for it regardless. But
yeah, I am too. I think it would have been better if they didn't bring back Maul and Rebels.
Yeah,
they could have used that for the Obi-Wan show.
I hate Rebels. I hate it, and a big reason is because of that. Like, if you're to close off that character in that piece of shit show,
the show's not that bad. I actually enjoy the show.
I love Rebels personally, but
I'm sorry, guys.
That's okay. You don't have to. You like it. You don't have to.
It's one of those things where
it's pre-K Star Wars. I fucking hate it. It's hideous looking.
Oh, but the last 2 seasons are
There's-
pretty.
I guess
solid.
Resistance is pre-K Star Wars.
Yeah,
but
so Rebels
Yeah.
has some pretty cool ideas in it, and I do understand where you're coming from. There's
And-
can be a little bit of kiddie episodes, but
Yeah, but I mean, towards the end, it gets so much better, and like when Kanan sacrifices himself.
dude, Kanan
Oh my
is.
God.
There's some really cool characters there, but it's.
Sure.
I understand. It's hard to get into.
Sure.
and I can also understand if you really like Darth Maul, you can be frustrated
Mm-hmm.
that he goes out in an animated cartoon show
Yeah.
rather than in something like where he's maybe more prevalent on the big
Yeah.
screen. So
It's. I feel like it was one of those things where Dave Filoni wanted to do fan service and bring him back, and then they closed it off and like, oh, let's do an Obi-Wan show. Well, we've already taken away our biggest villain for Obi-Wan, so what are we gonna do now?
yeah, they have a lot of work cut out for him with the show, and I'm curious of who will be that villain. Maybe they'll bring in Darth Vader in some way, in some sort of.
No.
But I don't know.
It's just, yeah, I don't know if they could do that because it lessens the impact of A New Hope when that's the first time they've seen each other since their last battle.
Probably an Inquisitor is what makes the most sense. One of the new canon, like people that you never saw in the original trilogy or the prequel trilogy, or even the sequel trilogy, but they're in the video games and they're in Rebels and the cartoon shows. The Inquisitors, right? The guys with the spinny lightsabers who are followers of the Sith and aren't necessarily Sith themselves, but are hunters. And so maybe like a top Inquisitor seems like that might be because you're going to need to see some lightsaber battles. in the Obi-Wan
I
show.
actually read there was a rumor posing as a leak. I'm sure it's just made up, but this goes back to like legend stuff I wasn't at all familiar with.
Mhm.
But a character called Darth Krayt,
Mhm.
Krayt,
Yeah.
like as in the crate dragon, not like the wooden box, which would have been a better name at that point. I mean, but
Darth Krayt.
yeah, I guess I don't remember his name when he was a Jedi, but he was a Jedi that managed to survive Order 69 and lived on Tatooine as a Tusken Raider.
Oh yes,
And then would
I know
kind of
who you're
reemerge
talking
as a
about.
villain. So this person is claiming that he will be the villain of Obi-Wan.
That would be kind of cool. I guess you could see maybe if that Tusken Raider like sees that little boy and he can tell he's force sensitive and everything like
Yeah.
that, and he finds out that he's the son of Darth Vader. And
Yeah.
maybe he has a bone to pick with Darth Vader, and he's like, and I need to extinguish this type of evil before. And then I could see something like that. That'd be cool.
I think it'd be interesting. So that's not canon. I thought it was.
He's not anymore. No, he was the
Okay.
Legends post Return of the Jedi villain. It was like him and Darth Talon, the red Twi'lek tattoo lady.
That'd be pretty interesting.
Which more Twi'leks in new Star Wars? I don't know.
Bring him in. That's what I
I
say.
need my
Bring
noodles.
Need your noodles.
I'm craving
Craving
space
some
spaghetti.
craving some phalanges on the back of the head.
What?
Fingers.
Moving on. There is a rumor going around that the Knights of the Old Republic video game remake is in the works and is wanting to make a lot of official old elements officially canon. Tim, as you know, I tried
Still
to
have never finished
I
Knights of the Old Republic.
I tried to play it.
Max.
I don't think it held up as well as you guys think it does. I think if
Oh no, it holds up. I started playing the second one. I probably about a couple hours in. No, actually 8 hours in. It's pretty good.
I think if
It's very
you
interesting.
played the game when you were younger and you have a lot of nostalgia for the game, it's gonna hold up just naturally because you have a lot of good memories playing it. If you were someone who never played the game and your first time was playing it on an Xbox One and graphics that are suited for the Xbox OG, it's a little harder to get into.
See, the thing that I love about it is, I mean, it takes after Dungeons and Dragons, where you can kind of just sit back, you make your decisions, and it's play by play, or is it play by play? What is the term called?
I don't know what you're
Turn-based.
trying to say.
Turn based. That's it. Turn based. But I mean, you just kind of sit back, you make decisions, and that ultimately affects your character's outcome and everything around you. I mean, it's a nice little RPG too.
I like the decision making aspect of it, and I like the dialogue and the story. There's nothing wrong with that. Just the gameplay, it's just not for me. I'm not a turn-based guy. I like Pokemon just fine, but like in an RPG, I want to be swinging lightsaber. I want to feel like I'm swinging lightsaber myself. I thought that all this time, the Knights of the Old Republic was like Skyrim, just third person all the time, and you were swinging a lightsaber. So when I went in there and I found out that you're like clicking and you're kind of button mashing and having him go and walk over there and swing his lightsaber and then back up, that was like something I was a little bummed about.
Well, it's not exactly turn-based. It's more like just there's cooldowns on all your abilities, and you can kind of queue things up. But
yeah, exactly. The thing I like about it too is it prevents the player from getting too OP, and it requires a lot more strategy as well. Because you pause the game and you have to decide: am I going to attack this person, or am I going to use this force ability?
Yeah.
Things like that. So
yeah, I mean, I get where you guys are coming from. I just, maybe I'll pick it up.
It's all about that sweet, sweet twist at the end.
I already know what the twist is at this point. So
speaking of not finishing games, where are you at in Fallen Order?
We're coming along,
dude.
I'm bad. I'm bad at video games now. It takes me forever to buckle down and play them.
The game is hard.
It is a hard game, and I'm not even afraid to admit it. I went from Jedi Knight and I just put it down to story mode. I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. I played the Ninth Sister on Jedi Knight, and I got my ass handed to me at least 29 times in a row. Like when I fought her for like 7 to 8 minutes, and she gets me at the last second, right when I'm about to finally finish her every time. And I'm just like, and I was like, I'm done. I'm putting this on story mode because I got to get past this because this is driving me insane.
To play a turn-based game then.
Probably. Dude,
it was just the Purge Troopers with the rifles.
Yes,
those ones fucking suck.
Yeah,
and then the ones with the 2 sticks. Those guys are hard to deal with, but the others aren't so big a deal.
The one that was the hard. Where are you at in the game? You went to the Coliseum, right?
Yeah, I think I'm like at the Kashyyyk tree or something like that.
The one that was the most difficult for me.
No, I'm on Dathomir now. Wait, no, I'm leaving. I believe I just left Dathomir again. I fought that one dude who was like in robes who turned out to be like super ripped and hot.
Taron Malicos.
Yeah. That was
an interesting.
That was like the last thing I remember, I believe.
So you got Sister Marin on the team now.
Yeah. Or do we? Is she on the team? The undead sister girl?
I don't know.
I don't know where he's at.
You should be there. It should have happened.
I was just gonna say,
maybe I have a couple more things to do.
Unless you just beat the boss and then immediately turned your game off and walked away. But
well, I just ran away. Like I just ran back to the ship. I believe was the last thing I did.
You haven't fought him yet.
No. You fight him?
No, you don't. No.
Oh, that seems kind of cool.
You beat it, Tim?
Yeah, I beat it like the second week.
The ending nuts.
Oh,
that was like the best part of the game. Just like the last 10 minutes.
That was intense.
Yeah.
That last fight. So that took me forever to win.
Yeah,
that was impossible.
I was about to fucking I ripped my wiener off. I was getting so mad at that.
God, I watched the ending.
The old wiener's coming off.
Full on game rage that I haven't felt in years.
God damn it. But I watched the ending probably at least like 50 times. that ending is
amazing. I kind of just want to watch it on YouTube now.
No, because it's gonna spoil it.
Well, obviously.
Well, it's not. Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's like I feel like I'm gonna hear it at some point.
You spoiled Knights of the Old Republic for yourself. Might as well just watch.
It's true. Might as well. I mean, it's been forever. It's been since like November, and I haven't finished it. And I'm like, there's so many other games I gotta play. So I probably whatever.
What game are you playing now?
Well, I mean, I haven't been playing video games much at all, just because I've been under the weather. I just haven't been able to focus on it. But Apex Legends and some Battlefront with you, but pretty much Apex. But I need to, and I was playing Fallen Order quite often, but so I need to finish that game up. But from the Knights of the Old Republic perspective, that's some exciting stuff, I guess, to bring in some popular characters like Darth Revan and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I think that's it's very, very promising idea.
Yeah,
because there's like a lot of not very fun parts of the first one.
Yeah.
We've talked about before, like when you're in the the exosuit walking around underwater
Oh
for
my
like
God.
2 straight hours and shit like that can go
That is the
away, or
worst.
the whole trial on the one planet where your character is like accused of something and you have to like be your own lawyer or whatever.
Oh,
And if you
yeah.
fuck up, they kill you and you have to start it all over again. That was awful.
That's how I got my law degree.
Wow, pass the bar.
Yes. But that would be good to iron out some of that and then have just a different gameplay system. If it were to play more like something like The Witcher 3, I think that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty sweet.
I think that's where they should go.
Yeah.
They should play it. They should go more RPG action, like
Yeah.
Oblivion, Skyrim.
But where you have to actually, because I haven't played The Witcher, but from my understanding, you have to do have to do research for your various enemies and stuff.
You don't have to. You can beat your head against the wall until they die if you're like me.
I'm pretty sure like all those massive games too, like outside of JRPGs, they just don't. They don't. They don't stick to that type of combat style anymore. Even JRPGs don't even really do that anymore. So,
The Witcher 3 plays much better than The Witcher 2, which I think if you've ever tried that, don't. If you haven't, because that gameplay loop is basically he's got sign magic, right? So you've got, was it Quen, his shield? You throw up your shield and then you roll. And once Geralt's done rolling, if you got hit, throw up the shield and roll again. If you didn't get hit, try to attack and then roll away. So it's just constant rolling, throwing up. It's awful. It's
And
an
Witcher
awful
2?
gameplay loop. Yeah.
wow, really?
It's so stupid. And you have to like do the micromanaging with like brewing the right potions and putting the right oils on your sword. And that's still in the third one, but you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
It just makes things a little easier. 3's more about just kind of responsiveness and reflexes and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Seems more of just.
I need to play that game.
Which seems like the Jedi kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty sweet.
I'm okay with I'm honestly okay with Fallen Order's combat system trying to be Knights of the Republic. I also think it'd be cool just the idea of Knights of the Republic introducing characters that could show up in movies and TV series. I think that could be kind of a cool idea. Like Revan getting back in Knights of the Republic, but then also crossing over into the movies where it's video game birth, movie comes into rather than the opposite way.
EA keeps getting like recognizable actors to be in their games with what's her name? Janina in Battlefront 2 plays Iden Versio. She was on The League.
Yeah, she was
and then
Shiva.
we have Cameron Monaghan, right, playing Cal Kestis, and like all the other voice actors, like all those characters are modeled after their voice actors. So it seems like it's maybe Lucasfilm trying to position in a way to maybe they can have these actors play their characters in like future shows or movies.
I'd be surprised if that doesn't happen, just because how they're kind of doing that kind of crossover. And there's that project and that they're talking about, which we could talk about on the next episode, but that overall rumored project that goes to books, comics, movies, TV shows, and video
Project
games.
Luminous.
Yeah. That gets announced this month, right?
Well, actually, they were supposed to. The rumor was they were going to announce the new director for the next trilogy.
That was supposed to be
of films in
last
January.
month. Yeah, that never happened.
And it never happened. So I don't know. Maybe it'll come in February or not. I thought that was an official announcement too, that January is going to be the month, but maybe it was just a rumor. But yeah, okay. Well, there's some cool ideas that are definitely in those video games that we would like to see brought into canon, and obviously maybe give it a fresh take. Definitely not a remake, I don't think, but give it a lot of the same ideas, but also making it new and fresh for everyone to play.
I want a Star Wars dating sim.
Yeah, I could definitely see something like that coming down the line.
Which Jedi Master is the man for me?
Isn't there
there are female Jedi
Instagram
Masters
filter
too,
for that?
I could see.
Is there?
I could see.
Plo Koon.
Plo Koon.
That guy's got a messed up face, but I bet you
That's kind of rude.
Bet you he's great in
He probably
sack.
says the same thing about you.
Kidi Mundi apparently.
Which, by the way, just made me
Apparently
think
he
of-
got permission to fuck.
You know what I just, by the way, just realized, someone, because I was thinking of, obviously a Jedi dating sim, and then I was thinking sexual organs, and then I was thinking,
Of course.
Luke Skywalker is technically an alien, so he could have like 8 stomachs, and we don't even know.
And explain
Stomach's
the
a sexual
green
organ
blue
for
milk.
you?
No, I was just thinking in general, like he could have a weird,
Look at him eat all that.
he could just have
food.
a weird biological makeup there.
Okay.
So you're
He may
saying
not-
you want to study the anatomy of Luke Skywalker?
Yes, he may not even poop. He might just incinerate everything. He maybe has.
Uses
We
the
do know
Force.
there are toilets. Toilets have been confirmed thanks to Mandalorian.
That's true.
that one blue alien that
Which
would
I'll tell you
shut
what-
up about the big old shit he had.
But I'll tell you what, as a fan of many fandoms, having toilets confirmed is much better than having toilets unconfirmed.
Toilets confirmed.
As a fan of Harry Potter and finding out that wizards just shit themselves and vanish their poop away.
That wasn't in the books. That's
excuse
just
me?
Rowling having a stroke on
That's
Twitter.
what she says, and I believe it's in Pottermore, which means it's canon.
No,
You haven't heard of this?
No.
It's like in Pottermore.
I don't even care.
Oh, we
about
should
Harry
talk about this
Potter.
in the
I
next
don't know why I'm
episode of
engaging in
Common
this.
Room.
We should. The next Common Room episode, we'll do this. All right, moving on to the next topic. The Rise of Skywalker. It has now been over a month since that film was released in theaters, and I thought it might be kind of fun to go back and retrace our thoughts and our steps and see what do we think of the movie.
Did you say stink? Was that a Freudian slip there?
Did I retrace our stink and
Smells
see
good.
and see what we think of it a month later. A month later, Rise of Skywalker. I still like the movie. Do I have the burning desire and itch to watch the movie again?
I feel like you didn't have that itch the second time you saw it.
Yeah.
Per Tim's Instagram story.
Yeah.
What was
That's
this?
right.
It was an Instagram
I'll
story
show
of
you.
Max's
Were you
eyes
asleep
shut.
in the theater? Or
I
something?
fell asleep in
He
the
fell
theater.
asleep. Here, Max, you talk. I'll show
It
Tana.
was too good.
A month later, I don't have the burning desire to maybe rewatch it again. I am excited for it to come out on Blu-ray and everything, so I can give it a shot again and see. A lot of those times, those films, they just resonate different when you watch them at home. And
Perfect.
yeah, dude, I was, now keep in mind, I was like 5 or 6 beers deep in this picture, so I was like feeling it, and that was a 10:30 showing. So I was like
10:30,
Out.
so late.
Dude, I was so tired because of those beers, and I was so cozy in those AMC 20 chairs, man. You just sink into them.
Yeah.
But a month later, you can kind of take a step back and see what you really feel about the film. Again, I still like the movie. I'm still okay with this being the end of the Skywalker saga. Could it have been done better?
Yes.
Yes. I think now, I don't think before I said it that they could have been done like necessarily better. I think there was definitely elements, but there was definitely, now looking back on it, I'm like, man, there's a lot of things that happened in that don't make a heck of a lot of sense. That I really wish they would have taken the time of maybe 30 minutes extra of movie, just make it 3 hours. It's the last movie of the Skywalker saga, and just flesh it out a bit more. Let these scenes breathe a bit. Let us understand why Palpatine is back. Touch on that more. Give us a little bit more Luke Skywalker, the see around kid. That had to make more sense. So I'm a little disappointed that didn't show up. Why does Mark Hamill look absolutely ridiculous as a Force ghost? He looks.
His hair
He
just
literally.
constantly
It
blows.
he
didn't
looks-
bother me. I didn't
Dude,
get
didn't
any of
bother you?
that. No.
and maybe not.
His
Maybe
hair.
not in the like original, the first scene with him as Force Ghost, but at the end there, I feel like he literally looks like he got a old it says in the Halloween Express, old space wizard
Yeah.
costume, and he threw it on because his hair looks ridiculous. It looks ridiculous. It just is. It doesn't, especially because it's so much longer than it was in the Last Jedi. I'm like, does it grow when you die? Is it like, is he a?
Yeah.
Does he have a
What-
forced barber?
Why didn't he just go back to his ways when he had shorter hair.
It's,
don't know.
It's interesting to me.
I don't know.
Anakin
He's
went
like-
from an old man to being.
I mean, he went from
Right.
long hair to
Right.
force projecting himself with short hair to going to Force Ghost as a long hair boy, and now he's like, you know what? I want to go as a short hair boy. And he goes there. And
it
he's
sounds
I
like
don't
Luke's
that.
having a midlife
It
crisis.
seems to me
He wants to buy a Harley.
it's weird that he would appear the way he is when he dies in episode 8. When we have, I mean, again, this was done through retconning of the special
Yeah.
editions, but having Anakin come back as he appeared when he was a much, much younger Hayden
Yeah.
Christensen. I almost wonder if Luke should have looked like he did Return of the Jedi era.
That would have been
there.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
That actually is a cool idea. You're right.
Kind of at his.
They already did it with the CGI in the thing. That could have.
Yeah.
I don't
been
know.
Cool.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Because
I think it'd have been.
Last Jedi was kind of Luke at his lowest, and he does
Yeah.
achieve that redemption and that state of grace at the end of the movie. But he appears to Kylo younger through his force projection. So I feel like his force ghostness would not look like Hermit Luke, albeit with much more glorious flowing hair.
Yeah,
but
I mean it's beautiful. Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, that's such a nitpick thing.
yeah,
Probably. That's not an
it's
actual.
neither
that's not-
here nor there.
yeah.
But
That's not a legitimate. That's not a legitimate thing.
we need to talk about how the whole movie's garbage. No, I'm fine with it. It exists. There are things in it I like, but as time's gone on, it's just more and more like, what the fuck? Like I feel like dropped the ball on so many things, and I haven't been scouring the internet and like reading like negative comments, like because when I walked out of the theater, I felt like I'm done. I'm done with the Star Wars discussion. I'm done with Reddit on it.
Yeah.
Like it's over. I'm going to exist in my own world with it now, and it's still managed to turn sour all on its own. And even walking out of the theater, I still wasn't like in love with it.
Yeah. I think, if I'm being honest with myself too, I can't help it. Like I get carried away in like the emotion and the hype and everything like that. When I left that theater, I know for a fact I said I loved it. I think I did the exact same thing with the Rise of Skywalker or with the Last Jedi. But I
You
know
did
deep
the same
down
thing
when
with Suicide Squad.
I know deep down when I was
Best movie ever.
I know, and I know deep down when I was leaving that theater, I was like, something's missing from that. Something's missing that isn't getting me. That it didn't bring me all the way home. But I definitely lied for my friends and was like, oh, that was fucking awesome. It's like there's nothing wrong with that movie at all. I don't know if it was because I didn't want to be a downer or if I was just trying to lie to myself to say like you really liked that thing. I can't help but say though, I did leave thinking there's just something missing in the secret sauce that that I wish was there.
I agree with that. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I liked it, and yes, there are some things I wish they would have done differently. But kind of as you said, it's like afterwards, like, well, I'm done. I'm not going to worry about it. They did it.
Yeah.
There's no point of stressing over it.
Right.
But I did feel like there's something kind of missing. I was excited for the movie. I thought it, again, I thought it was good, but you didn't feel the same kind of like you did after seeing Endgame, where it's just this epic conclusion. It was good, but yes, it does feel like there's something lacking.
It was almost like JJ tried to force almost like almost like two different movies into like one.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to make my episode 8 and 9 at the same time.
Yeah.
And there's just so much going on with it. The plot's so convoluted. It's constant jumping place to place and going here to get this thing so they can go get that thing. Now they have that thing, they can go get this thing.
Yeah.
And then there's a bunch of new characters that do fuck all. Like General, was it Pride?
Yeah.
Why couldn't that just been General Hux? Or Janna? Like, why couldn't this just been Rose and Kerry Russell's character? what she could have just not been in the movie at all. Like it doesn't
There'd be
add
no Babu Frick.
anything.
Yeah. I know that's right.
It's
You won't
like
give
those-
no Babu Frick then.
Jana and what's her character? Zori.
Zori Bliss.
It's
yeah.
like they're just there to kind of, I don't know, keep Poe and Finn's heterosexuality alive or something.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
I just, yeah. For me, I like the adventure aspect of it. I do think maybe there's too many like fetch quests, and they could have done some more breathing and more just like, you know, maybe running away to get to someplace rather than constantly running to get, like running away, like retreating and then like laying low together and type of that stuff. I think could have added, but instead it was always on the move. The story was never slowing down. And yeah, I just, you know, also when I look back at the trilogy, the only movie that held up to like everything post, and like, and maybe you guys can disagree, but I feel like there's one movie in the entire franchise that people have some gripes with it, but still, Force Awakens, like that people like, you know, when the main complaint people have is like, oh, it's too similar to New Hope, but still people really enjoy that movie.
Mm-hmm.
I would rewatch it anytime. I think it held up so well. And the other ones, they just kind of, you know, got picked apart so much that it was.
I
Yeah.
feel like with Force Awakens, it's because they don't take any of those stabs of saying, "Oh, Rey's no one." They don't take those risks because they're just setting it up so they don't have to get all that backlash.
Yeah.
So I mean, I agree with you. It's. I don't know if I want to say it's my favorite one, but yeah, it's the least controversial one of the new trilogy.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting though when you take a look back at the film in general and just how you feel about it now compared to when you did. But I mean, to be honest with you guys, I do feel like I've always felt, because I think I was just trying to lie to myself. I think I felt the exact same way about the movie from the moment I've seen it. And I've seen it 3 times. I think I felt the exact same way leaving the theater that I do now. It's not worse. It's not better. It's just, I feel like, all right, well, that exists.
Yeah.
It's not for me. I really wish I wouldn't, I just really wish I wouldn't have been like so acting like I was so much in love with it just to try and make myself love it. Because there's definitely issues with it. And it doesn't resonate with me as much as I was hoping it would. And at the end, I still like the, you know, unfortunately, like the Rey Skywalker thing's getting memed into oblivion. I think maybe that could have been like, you know, handled better too if they were wanting to go that route. But you know, yeah.
It felt like I wasn't experiencing, like the movie didn't pull me in. It was just kind of happening at me.
Yeah.
And it felt very overwhelmed with a lot of.
I think the biggest issue I had with it was the writing too. Like I really wish they would
dialogue.
I really wish they would have just gone and gotten Kasdan. Like I know he said he didn't want to write one anymore, but I was like, man, just go get him for one last one. It's like this is potentially the finale of the Skywalker saga. Just go grab him.
I wish Rian Johnson would have finished it off.
It'd be interesting to see what he would have done.
Yeah, I mean,
finished it off.
That kid with the broom would have.
Broom Boy wasn't a setup for
by-
anything. I don't get why people get hung
He was
up
the
on
he was
that.
the chosen one.
Yeah.
which is funny, by the way.
No, he
with
was the chosen one.
with the Rise of Skywalker being out, if you ask me, like, would you prefer to see what Ryan would have done instead of Rise of Skywalker? Honestly, I might say I guess I kind of wish we would have maybe just kept going in the direction.
At least there would have been some continued vision.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is now that everything's said and done, and I was very much a believer in the sequel trilogy. I fought for it. It's still better than the prequel trilogy. Anyone who's tries to tell you different at this point is still fucking stupid.
Yeah.
As much as the Rise of Skywalker disappointed me, it's still better than the Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
they might be
no.
equal. They
Hold
might
on. Yeah,
actually
I
be
actually
on
really
equal
like
footing.
I rewatched Revenge of the Sith recently. It was a lot better than I remembered.
I like
it's
Revenge
fine.
of the Sith a lot.
But still, like 7 and 8 are leagues above episodes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Not even comparable. But it's just now it's all done. It's like there clearly was no vision.
Yeah, I don't blame.
And George didn't direct all three of the original trilogy, but he was still there.
Yeah.
And the only person who was there throughout all three of these was Kathleen Kennedy. And not to jump on a Kathleen Kennedy hate train, but it's clear she wasn't approaching this from, I have a story to tell. It's like, Bob Iger wants me to make Star Wars movies, so let's make some money. And it's just...
It's almost like they're 3 entirely separate films. And that's the thing, too. And so I love The Force Awakens. You guys know how I feel about The Last Jedi. But what I will say... What I'll say...
Actually, yes.
I've actually really learned to try and enjoy that movie. But what I will say about Rise of Skywalker versus Last Jedi is I felt like the changes that went in the absolute opposite direction in The Last Jedi were a little bit less... I don't know, a little bit less clunky, and it's the way they changed how they were going to go with The Force Awakens into Last Jedi was a little less clunky. The changes they made there that were unexpected compared to The Rise of Skywalker, which did some more changes, and I felt like they were maybe a little more heavy-handed with their changes.
It wasn't changes so much as just completely ignoring or outright throwing things out the window.
Yeah.
Like Rose being completely sidelined. Like, I think Dominic Monaghan's side character had more dialogue than she did.
Yeah. And I was like, that makes no sense. I didn't really care for Rose's character, but I also was like,
I didn't either, but
man, she should have been in
still
it.
there.
More.
Do something
she
with
should
her.
She's there, yeah. And you brought up a great point, like the introduction of the new characters. I felt like, okay, well, we already have established characters. Let's just hang out with them.
There was no business introducing all these new characters. Hux, just a complete, like, he's the mole because he just is that pissy towards Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
That
there's a lot
going from episode 7 Hux giving his fiery speech at Starkiller Base where he borderline has like tears in his eyes because he's got such a boner for the First Order.
Yeah.
And then in 9, he's just willing to throw it away because he hates Kylo. It doesn't make any sense. There was no arc from those 2 points.
Also, I don't get where Palpatine got all those ships and all those people to man those ships. I don't understand how that happened. Unless, like, some people, I mean, they didn't really bring it up, but like apparently is what it should be treated as a contingency plan, and he always had those. And if they were basically been there since the original trilogy,
well,
and now it's just like the people who have been there forever, basically, and they're just like constantly just bringing in new people, constantly working on that. But it's like,
I guess the visual dictionary goes a long way to sort of explain some things. So I guess all the Sith cultists that are in the stadium seating are like, they're like space CEOs when they're not being cultists. They're just rich. Really? They're the 1% of the galaxy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they're all like, it's like the evil Illuminati of Star Wars or something.
They weren't spirits; they were actual people.
No, those were real people.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I think spirits was way creepier. That idea, I like that. But no, they were real. And that's how.
I guess that makes sense, though.
They funded everything.
That makes sense then.
I guess Kylo Ren was on Mustafar in the beginning.
Yeah, they didn't touch on that.
Oh, just the planet where Vader's fucking castle is.
Yeah.
Which
would have been
how could you not have that in the movie? That would have been very
welcome to know. Like, we're already there.
How do you not
have
Kylo Ren go to Vader's castle, and I think Duel of the Fates actually has him there. Anyways.
Yeah, no, and it would have been cool to kind of hear like Vader's voice there in that aspect. I could see a totally cool visual shot of Kylo like walking towards a crumbled Vader's castle on Mustafar, but not crumbled enough that you don't know what it is, so you still know, and it's like a big moment, and then he goes in there and gets the Sith Wayfinder. That would have been cool. Also at the end, like, I feel like it was a huge monstrous missed opportunity that they did voices and they didn't do Force Ghosts for all of those people. Like, they have all of them. Now I don't think I would have cared to see Mace Windu there.
And some of the voice choices were bizarre.
It's like it should have just been like, I think it should have just been the main Jedi, right? It should have been Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Luke, I guess Leia, Anakin. That's like all you need. You didn't need much more.
Luminara Unduli,
Yeah.
Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it would have been cool if you see them like just lining, like basically just a herd of them behind her would have been kind of cool. But
Ayla Sakura,
Yeah.
which again, I'm a fan. And I only recognize her voice because it was the only one with a French accent.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Because Clone Wars made her French.
Yeah.
But
It's something else too. I just wish they would have just with Carrie Fisher. I think they should have just left her out of the movie in general.
I agree. She should have just.
It would have been tough though to completely.
It
write
would
her
have
off.
been awkward, but just to have her die in between the two, I think would have been the best choice. Because honestly, her presence, in my opinion, it took me out of those scenes.
Yeah.
Like they did such a bad job trying to write her dialogue into, because they're just pointless, stupid conversations that
They're
like,
not. The lines have no weight to them, type of thing. Yeah.
like when Rey is like, I think I'm gonna have chicken nuggets for dinner, and Leia's like, don't tell me what you think, tell me what you know.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah. That line.
This is a scene.
That was
This
the
is-
line I didn't like either.
Yeah,
I didn't
it
make
was
it. That line
so
was. Also, I think they were trying
awkward
to.
and stupid.
They were trying to force Leia's involvement with like the Jedi and stuff there too. For me, I just was like, I don't really care about Leia's like lightsaber here. If they would have like touched on that, if she, unfortunately Carrie passed away. If she was alive, where she could have really been playing more of a role as like Rey's trainer instead of just like trying to cut it together as her being her trainer. We know she's been her trainer for like 3 minutes in the movie, and then that's like all we get of that. And now like it's very important that her lightsaber's in this, and it's just like I just wasn't the biggest fan of that. And I think that should have the last lightsaber that Luke gave her should have been his green
green one,
lightsaber.
yeah.
Yeah, what happened to that one?
I don't understand why we never. I don't know what the sequel trilogy has against that green lightsaber, but they're like, no.
This
You will
would
not
be
see that unless it's in a flashback.
Too fan servicey and stupid. But I would have liked it anyways, is if instead of her giving him the lightsaber through their Force connection or whatever, which was still kind of cool.
Mhm.
But if R2-D2 was for some reason
Yeah.
there and he spits Greenie out because he had it the entire
Yeah.
time, because he's R2, he's just
Yeah.
fucking around, you know how he is.
Yeah.
And then Ben catches Greenie and then kills all the knights. That would have been dope. But
I would have loved
Yeah.
to see that, especially because he was wearing all black like Luke did, and that would have been
Yeah.
cool. But
his casual workout
yeah,
clothes.
his Old Navy long sleeve tee.
The fact that Ben Solo only had one line in the
Yeah.
entire third act, and it was "ow."
That was the biggest misstep. I really wish we would have.
I don't understand
Their
that.
whole final moments together, I'm like, why is no one talking?
Well,
Why is no one exchanging any
One,
dialogue right now?
they don't talk, but then like he doesn't even say anything to Palpatine.
Yeah,
when
he doesn't
shows
give
up.
a shit. He's like, "Oh, you've been manipulating everything this whole time."
Yeah.
Like,
There could have been some.
I have
dialogue
no
there.
feelings on this. Like,
Yeah.
it hurts.
Yeah.
It just,
It-
it's so dumb.
It hurts, but we all know the Ben Solo Funko Pop's gonna be pretty cool. So that's at least one thing we could take solace in.
I think
Oh, yeah.
if there were two routes to go, right? You either redeem Ben or you don't. And if you don't redeem Ben, I don't know how well that would jive with the overall
Yeah.
themes and messages of Star Wars. So he has to be redeemed. And I think if you're going to redeem him, do it much, much earlier in the story, or have him at least cooperating with Rey, and scenes with like a semi-friendly Kylo Ren, like traveling with Rey and Poe and Finn, and those exchanges would be like a Prince Zuko from like Avatar kind
Yeah.
of situation. That would have been a gold mine of great like dialogue
Yeah.
and exchanges, but nope.
I just
It's
think
just the last second.
Yeah, I just think the movie is a little bit of there's just something missing, and that's okay, I guess. We're just
That's-
gonna have to.
That's the shadow over the entire sequel trilogy. It's just the weight of all the missed opportunities in every single film,
Yeah.
and then the third one really
Yeah.
was crushed under that. But
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just fan servicey things. I'm like obvious threads that were set up in one movie not being properly continued or executed in the next one.
Yeah, but you know what? I look at these as a big fan of this gentleman named Ken Knapsack. He looks at these like he does history. it's just what happened. It happened. That's what happened in it. It may not be the way you want it, but
Yeah.
it's what happened, and you have to, figure out a way to like it and go with it. So that's what I'm going to keep trying to do. I've done it with the Rise of Skywalker. I've done it with The Last Jedi. I don't dislike the Rise of Skywalker, but yeah, I'll give it another. Keep giving it some rewatches, and we'll be able to figure out more
Did
about
we
it.
even talk about the end of The Mandalorian?
I don't know.
I don't know if we did. No, because it was the week after Rise of Skywalker, right?
Yeah, I don't think we ever
Guess we should finish that as a
wrapped
point.
up The Mandalorian.
Maybe we'll do our Mandalorian wrap up next week. We can wrap up that thread. We can do that.
Can't believe Baby Yoda dies.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking.
Well, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's Force Vision. The Oscars are this weekend, as Tim brought up. So we
You're welcome.
we might put out something like a little Oscar predictions thing. We probably won't. But if we do, be on the lookout for that. That's going to be cool. But next week's episode, we'll definitely have a follow-up to the Oscars, what we saw, what our thoughts are. And yeah, got a whole new slew of podcasts coming down the line. So thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Force Vision. As always, I'm your host, Max Leadham, at Max Fozzie, for my good friend Tim Reichmuth at Tim Trist, and my good friend Tanner Rush at Danger Rush, and our good buddy, producer, seducer, Jordan Katzer at JCats. On the ones and twos, as always. Thank you guys so much again for listening. We will see you next week. And may the force be with you.
Excuse me.
Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Oh.